I am here today at my indoor system. I'm going to go ahead and do a harvest video. I'm going to harvest back all these big old cilantros that are reaching out and they're getting burnt from touching the bulbs. And so I'm going to harvest them back as much as I can and keep the plant alive. And then I'm going to harvest a whole bush of basil in here in some time so I can make way for some new plants. So I'm going to show you how I maintain this monster of a system. I'm going to start with the cilantro, and my goal is going to be to cut as long and healthy of a stalk as possible, but without killing the main stalk. So I'm going to go to the first primal nodal point where the first branches split off of each other, and I'm going to cut it there, and I'm going to do so on all of the major branches all the way down on all of these, and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, now when in trimming these, my primary goal was to keep them alive. So like I said, I cut them right at the first nodal point so they still have their fan leaves to be able to continue living. I don't want to kill these guys off. They're beautiful and they're strong plants. I just want them to not touch the light anymore. And so now I've gapped the lights in them by simply trimming them back. And now because of that, they'll be much happier. I truly did it for their benefit. And now, as you can see, I got basils touching it too. This thing is like 3 feet, probably about 2.5 feet tall. And then all this time, I'm going to harvest all of it and then probably give it away on Facebook or something. I just wanted to do a little video of why I say I have too much of that thyme in there. This is the window that the system's leaning against from the outside, and it's nothing but thyme and watermelon. There's watermelon right there and thyme right there. So I'm going to have to be real careful when I'm cutting it because I don't want to cut the watermelon at all. I just really want to cut back all this thyme and harvest it out before it just sits down there and rots, because it takes up that entire window and then it grows outside of the box too and continues on. So that's going to be the next thing I harvest, that and the basils that are in there. Alright, I'm going to start by trimming back the thyme. And what I'm going to do here is I can cut it anywhere because this is actually a vine, but it's a rooting vine. These little hairs are all roots, and so anywhere I cut this, I can just stick it in the ground into the soil and it'll just take off and start growing again. And so some of it will go to being clones, but most of it will probably just go to getting dried and maybe if somebody wants it to eat it or something. But I'm going to cut back all of these just to give, I mean, this is right here is probably 2 gallon sized bags just full of this thyme, and I'm going to cut it all back. I'm going to try to avoid the watermelons as best as possible, and then once I can see how much basil I have, because the thyme has kind of enveloped it, then I'll go ahead and trim back the basil. Just from touching those, the whole room smells ridiculously like thyme. This is a massively healthy bush. I want to get lots of it, so anybody who follows me on Facebook, if you want some, come get it. So now I've cut about a quarter of the thyme back. I really tried hard to separate the watermelon, which is that long guy, from the thyme, which I still have probably 3 times the amount of I've harvested worth on there. This is what I got harvest wise out of that. Gigantic like bush of thyme. I don't know what I'm going to do with all that. I'll probably give it all away, but it's beautiful healthy thyme, and a good chunk of this will go to cloning. I'll just re-stick it back into other places. I have bushes and bushes of that stuff growing around here. So now that I can see that I have really healthy basil plant growing all the way up and touching the light, I'm going to go ahead and cut that back, and I'm going to cut it all the way about in half. Again, I want to leave plenty so it can reach the sun, and so it has enough life to continue photosynthesizing, but I want to get all of that excess off of there. And so I'm just going to look for the nodal points like last time and then just cut them off there. And I could actually clone these too, but I don't think I will. And then, while I'm here, pick some jalapenos. These guys smell so amazing. Alright, so I got everything trimmed back. I got the cilantro away from the lights. Got the thyme, stop the thyme from strangling everything. I cut my basil back so my pepper plant can get some light. I cut the thyme away from the watermelon. Got everything nice and maintained. And now I'm going to turn the lights back on and let it keep running. I got a beautiful harvest of several gallon-sized bags full of herbs. Then, not to mention that we eat from this every day. We're always eating the arugula every day. We're eating the cilantro every day. The onions that grow in here, we're continuously eating those, and these onions that grow in here. And this is a living system. It definitely just keeps going and going and going. And as long as you do it right, it always will. And I'm hoping that I can keep advancing this and keep evolving it, and I'll keep posting videos of the various harvests and of the various adaptations. And I love anybody's opinion who wants to give it. Leave it in the comments or hit me up on Facebook at Facebook Springside Gardener, and we'll talk about this shit. Dude up.